There are places on this earth that seem to exist just outside the frantic hum of our modern world. They are corners of the map where time does not race forward, but instead deepens, like a river settling into its ancient bed. Bhutan is such a place. It arrives in the mind not as a destination, but as a whisper, a rumor of a kingdom hidden among the world's highest peaks. To think of Bhutan is to imagine prayer flags snapping in a crisp mountain wind, their silent petitions dissolving into the vast, blue emptiness. It is to picture a landscape so immense and theatrical that it seems to have been dreamed into existence, a place where the line between the physical and the spiritual is not just blurred, but entirely absent. It is a land that does not shout its presence, but rather hums with a quiet, powerful energy. The first breath of Bhutanese air feels different. It is thin, sharp, and carries with it the scent of pine, incense, and something older, something primeval. The silence here is not an absence of sound, but a presence in itself, a deep, resonant quiet that seems to hold the secrets of centuries. This is the land of the thunder dragon, or Druk Yul, a name that evokes not violence, but the powerful, creative rumble of a storm clearing the air. Winding roads disappear into valleys shrouded in fog. It is a vertical world, a dramatic tapestry of deep subtropical valleys and soaring ice-crowned peaks that pierce the heavens. This geography is not merely a backdrop, it is the very essence of the nation's character and its history. For centuries, these mountain ranges acted as a natural fortress, isolating the kingdom. The isolation was a sanctuary, a cocoon for a unique civilization to blossom, undisturbed. The country is landlocked, a jewel tucked between India and China, yet fiercely itself. The nation's story is one of deliberate solitude. Bhutan remained a collection of secluded valleys, each a world unto itself, connected by treacherous high passes and bound by shared spiritual devotion. This chosen isolation guarded a cultural flame from colonial ambition and global homogeneity. The Bhutanese believed sovereignty is preservation of the soul. They cultivated principles the outside world had largely forgotten. Development arrived with extreme caution. The first paved road, the first international visitors, the introduction of television, the internet. Each choice measured for cultural impact. Bhutan stepped into modernity on its own terms, wearing the go for men and the kira for women, a declaration of identity. It balances modern tools without surrendering its essence. Today, that legacy shapes the travel experience. A journey through Bhutan is a return to an intentional present. Winding mountain roads dictate a slower, contemplative pace of life. You surrender to the rhythm of the landscape as clouds drift through forests and waterfalls cascade down sheer rock faces. This is not a place to be rushed. It is to be absorbed slowly and deeply, letting its quietude recalibrate what matters. In a world obsessed with economic indicators and financial growth, Bhutan proposed a radical, almost heretical alternative. It declared that the ultimate goal of a society should not be the accumulation of wealth, but the cultivation of well-being. This was the birth of gross national happiness, or GNH, a development philosophy that places the spiritual, emotional, cultural health of its people on par with economic progress. The concept was introduced in the 1970s by the fourth king, Jigme Singye Wangchuck, who famously proclaimed that gross national happiness is more important than gross domestic product. It was a revolutionary statement that has since echoed around the globe. GNH is not a fleeting feel-good slogan. It is a sophisticated and practical framework that guides national policy. It is built upon four essential pillars: good governance, sustainable socio-economic development, preservation, and promotion of culture and environmental conservation. In Bhutan, the world of myth is not a relic of the past. It is a living, breathing reality that walks alongside the everyday. The landscape itself is a sacred text, inscribed with stories of gods, demons, enlightened masters. Every mountain peak, every hidden lake, every ancient cypress tree is imbued with spiritual significance. This is the land of the thunder dragon, and the dragon is more than a symbol on the flag. It is the Druk, whose thunderous voice is the sound of storms echoing through the valleys, a sound of power, protection, the creative energy of the universe. To be in Bhutan is to feel these legends inhabit the very air. The most famous tale involves Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, He flew from Tibet on the back of a tigress, the tigress as Yeshe Tsogyal, to subdue a powerful demon. He meditated for months in a cliffside cave, later Tiger's Nest Monastery. This story is foundational to Bhutan's spiritual identity. It shows enlightened beings with magical powers where spiritual and physical realms are fluid and where faith can transform reality. The flying tiger symbolizes wisdom over ignorance. Beyond saints, the land holds Nilaps or Yetis in the high snows. Shepherds find footprints or hear haunting calls. Local deities inhabit the landscape, spirits of the soil, the water, the sky. They are appeased with rituals and offerings. Ignoring them when building or ploughing invites misfortune. This constant awareness gives Bhutan life's unique texture. A gust of wind might be a passing deity. The Bhutanese landscape is punctuated by architectural marvels that seem to grow organically from the earth itself. The most iconic of these are the dzongs, massive fortresses that serve as both administrative centers and monastic bodies. Punakha Dzong, the Palace of Great Happiness, is perhaps the most majestic. Strategically placed at the confluence of two rivers, Pho Chu, male, Mo Chu, female. It appears like a great ship sailing through a sea of jacaranda blossoms in the spring. High on a sheer cliff face, clinging to the rock as if by divine will, is Parotak Tsang, the Tiger's Nest Monastery. Partly obscured by clouds, the country's most revered pilgrimage site. A steep 2-hour climb through a forest of whispering pines past fluttering prayer flags. For those with a spirit of adventure, Bhutan offers a playground of unparalleled natural beauty and raw, untamed wilderness. This is a country where the mountains are not just to be looked at, but to be experienced, step by arduous step. Trekking in Bhutan is unlike anywhere else in the world. The trails are not crowded highways of commercial expeditions, but quiet paths that lead you deep into a world of pristine forests, remote monastic hermitages, isolated communities that have lived in harmony with the mountains for centuries. The legendary Snowman Trek, considered one of the most difficult treks on Earth, is an epic journey across 11 high passes, offering breathtaking views of unclimbed peaks and hidden valleys where legends of Yetis still linger. The country's powerful glacier-fed rivers offer a different kind of thrill. Rafting kayaking down the Mochahu Pochu, carrying you past ancient Dzong's terraced rice fields, dense forests teeming with life. Even the national sport is an adventure in itself. Archery, or datse, is more than just a pastime. It is a celebration of community skill and ritual. The wild heart of Bhutan is also home to an incredible array of wildlife. In the high hills, you might catch a glimpse of the elusive snow leopard, the peculiar takin, Bhutan's national animal. The dense jungles of the south are home to tigers, elephants, and golden langurs. Birdwatchers flock here to see hundreds of species, including the sacred and endangered black-necked crane. Exploring Bhutan's wilderness is a journey into a world where nature still reigns supreme. In Bhutan, spirituality is not a separate compartment of life, reserved for Sundays or special occasions. It is the very thread from which the fabric of daily existence is woven. The guiding philosophy is Vajrayana, or Tantric Buddhism, a rich and complex tradition that infuses every action. This spiritual life is most vibrantly expressed during the annual festivals, or sekas. These are grand social and religious gatherings where entire communities come together at their local dzong or monastery. The highlight of any sechu is the cham, or sacred masked dances. Performed by monks and laymen, these mesmerizing dances are not mere entertainment. They are a form of meditation, a spiritual practice that is believed to confer blessings upon the audience and cleanse the earth of evil spirits. The dancers, adorned in magnificent costumes and terrifying masks or serene masks, it has been protected by a unique and often misunderstood tourism policy. High value, low impact. This is the golden key that unlocks the kingdom, and it is deliberately designed to preserve the very things that make Bhutan so special. Every visitor, with a few exceptions, must pay a daily sustainable development fee. It covers accommodation, a guide, transport, meals. One of the greatest challenges is the tension between tradition and modernity. As the world seeps in through television and the internet, the younger generation is increasingly exposed to global consumer culture. The lure of smartphones, brand-name clothing, and urban lifestyles, rural to urban migration is a growing concern. as young people leave their villages in search of opportunities in the capital, Thimphu, straining infrastructure and threatening the fabric of rural life. Bhutan is navigating a delicate and difficult path: how to embrace the benefits of the modern world without losing the cultural anchor that has defined it for centuries. The concept of happiness itself is also more nuanced than it might appear. For many Bhutanese, happiness is not about personal fulfillment in the Western sense, but about leading a virtuous life, accumulating good karma, and contributing to the well-being of one's family and community. It is a collective and spiritual endeavor, not an individualistic one. Yet, to acknowledge these challenges is not to diminish Bhutan's remarkable achievement, but a living, breathing social experiment, a nation courageously trying to forge a more humane and sustainable path in a world that often seems to have lost its way. The kingdom's real magic may lie not in its perfection, but in its profound and inspiring intention. The unseen contours of joy are often traced by the very challenges that seek to obscure it.